Welcome to Houston Newsmakers Extra. We're talking with Congressman Brian Babin about a number of issues, including, we started to talk about this earlier, your colleague Kevin Brady has decided to give it up, to stop this time. This is his last cycle. What are your thoughts about that? He's a tough guy. He's been working for that district for a long time.
He really has. In fact, he's been there a quarter of a century. He ran it first time in 1996, and the reason I know that is because I ran at the same time he won and I lost. So he's been doing a great job the entire time. He was my congressman up here in East Texas, and for a number of years. We're going to miss him. He was the one that orchestrated and the architect of our Tax Cuts and Jobs Act that gave us our tremendous economy that we had up until the COVID pandemic hit us a year ago in March. And we're going to miss him very, very much, Cambrell.
Well, he's always got good, solid arguments about various positions he wants to take. Let's talk about, well, we started to talk about the immigration challenges going on, and you mentioned the fact that we need to get together on some sort of law, some sort of immigration policy that we can agree on. But I make note that there really hasn't been much bipartisan support about anything going forward here. The tax bill the Republicans passed, no Democrats on board. Recent Biden coronavirus stimulus package, no Republicans on board. So why is there's so little effort? It kind of mimics what the country is. The divisiveness, nobody seems to want to come together. What's it going to take to have more of a bipartisan relationship in Congress? Because it's not happening now.
Well, let me just say this, and you can take it for what it's worth. I know I'm a Republican, but I don't think the Democrats really want to work with us. Since the beginning of this session in January, they have rammed through bill after bill with absolutely no committee work, no testimony, no input from the Republican Party, and quite frankly, I don't think they want it. We hear President Biden say he wants to be bipartisan. He's the president of all of the people in this country, and he certainly is. But then Ms. Pelosi suspends any committee work or shoves GOP away from the table. I know our leadership has tried the countless times to have input in some of these bills, and we just simply have not had that.
But at the same,
so I'm willing to work. And Cambrell, I serve on two great committees, and I've worked bipartisanly. I'm on the Transportation and Infrastructure Committee and on the House Space, Science and Technology Committee, and I represent 4 ports, including the Port of Houston. I represent Johnson Space Center, and we've had some great bipartisanship there. But on some of the bills in general, like I said, we haven't been at the table.
Yeah, and everybody's working in their own silos too. You preach to your own choir for the most part. Everybody amplifies that kind of stuff. I'm not sure that helps the process much, but we can talk about that another time. Let's talk about the Texas legislature now. I was trying to pass some bills there that relate to voting rights. And there are those who suggest that what they're trying to put through actually limits the opportunity for voters to vote. Where do you stand on that? Some say it's suppression. Are you for or against increasing the ways for eligible voters to vote? I say eligible voters. Are you for or against increasing the opportunity for those folks to vote? Congressman?
For eligible voters,
yeah.
I am for increasing the opportunities. We must increase the turnout, and we also need to be able to verify if you are an eligible voter, because ineligible voters should not be casting a vote. And we just came off of a very, very contentious, the most contentious election I've ever seen in my entire life, in the November 2020 election, when we had quite frankly, we had so many anomalies and irregularities in the name of COVID. We had people who were getting mail-in ballots. I know I got 3 of them up in Washington, D.C. in my apartment in somebody else's name. And these are the kind of things that we need to watch for. We need to have voter ID, and this is not voter suppression to ask for a photo ID at all. We have to be able to ascertain if someone is a legal voter. People die, people move. So sending out millions of mail-in ballots that haven't been solicited, haven't been asked for, simply just puts it into the hands of someone else, and you can't verify these signatures. If you can't ask for a voter ID card, which the Democrats are trying to push through at the Congress. Level, then I think and that there were too many anomalies and irregularities, and so we need to have bills like the Texas legislature, the Senate has already passed, like we've seen in Georgia, and I've looked. I for people that are criticizing the the Georgia one is restricting turnout. They are ascertaining and determining who's legal, and they're actually increasing the number of days. They're increasing the number of places that you can vote. And quite frankly, these are great bills. These are going to help minorities. They're going to help every American to cast their vote, but it has to be cast legally and by a legal voter.
I know you got to go, so with this last thing I want to ask you about the faith in our election system. You were one of the Republicans in Congress on January 6th who voted to not certify the votes in Arizona and Pennsylvania. A lot of that was going on ahead of that attack on the Capitol in Washington in January. Any regrets about that vote? Because a lot of it was based upon the premise that there was perhaps widespread election fraud, and it seems to me at this point there's been zero evidence that there was widespread election fraud.
Well, Cambrell, I hate to say it, but there's still investigations are going on, and I'd have no regrets whatsoever. That was my constitutional duty we weren't trying to overturn the election by objecting. We were trying to get some investigations. We were trying to get some scrutiny, if you will, into these irregularities, these anomalies in 6 different states. Including Georgia, as we were just talking about. I can just tell you that the American people many of the American people have lost faith in our election process. We must get back to a transparent election where we can be confident that our votes are going to be cast and they will be counted, and that illegal votes will not be counted. Well, and this is what it's all about. It has nothing to do with trying to overturn an election. It is trying to instill confidence in the American people that we have a great election process. We have a democratic republic, Cambrell, and the peaceful transfer of power is at stake 100%. And if we don't have people that have confidence in our election process, our great democratic republic is in jeopardy. You know,
you and I we need to get together for an hour conversation. Let's call it the Brell and Babin Summit on rhetoric, because right now a lot of what you talk about, the election fraud, a lot of that is because of a lot of rhetoric that's out there that's unsubstantiated. The cybersecurity chief at the Homeland Security said this was the most secure election we've ever had, but yet this still goes on. So I think we need to talk about it further. You're right, investigations need to be done. I'm with you, sir. Let's go ahead and follow these investigations to the end, make sure that everybody's voting and we can have a secure election. I know you got to go. Thank you for being here this morning, sir. Be safe.
Thank you. I'm looking forward to that summit. Thank you, Cambrell. God bless.
And I'll treat the lunch for that summit that we have, okay?
That's a deal, my friend. Thank you. The Babin Summit.
There you go. I know, yeah, you're right. Babin's got to go first. You're right about that, Congressman. Thank you so much. You be safe. We'll talk to you soon.
You too. Have a good one.
Bye-bye.